Well, I've got a plan to kill Mercury percolating underneath me, so that's started. I need now to head back to Nicholas's place.
Yeah, you get in, and both he and Thor are at work. Thor explains, Nicholas is helping me out with the website right now, so it looks more legit. We've got all our contact stuff pointed to some empty office that we bought. There's nobody there except some guy named Gavin. But there is a fax machine, which apparently is legally very important.
Yeah, running the shell company has always felt like summoning demons to me. You need a bunch of runes in just the right place, but if you know how, your money turns invisible. Speaking of, how's Anthony doing?
Well, he tells me that he's a lot happier now that he's doing the charity stuff. In fact, I think that's all he wants to do. He barely wants to mess with the real estate stuff.
Well, that's fine. That feels like the direction he was going. How is the real estate stuff going?
Really good, actually. We moved some of the money into an index fund after it got washed, and, I personally just don't get it. The amount of money that comes in from that is enough that I could live on, but it's not even doing anything. It's just sitting in stocks.
That's right. You're not going to find any bigwig criminal empires only tossing their funds under a mattress. But I'm glad that the business is doing well because the walls are closing in at Unstoppable Industries.
Nicholas says, what's going on? Are they onto your side deals?
Nah, but the place is getting real fishy. Lawry passed me a contract today promising a psychic would mess with my head. But where's he getting the psychic from? Some joint deal with the FBI? We got this new guy at the office named Cog who doesn't say anything. He just stands around and does what Lawry tells him to. Is he the psychic?
Thor says, like what, he just stands around?
Not exactly. I assumed he took himself too seriously. He's dressed up like paramilitary with a face-concealing helmet. Most cops know you don't do that. It dehumanizes you, makes people nervous, escalates the odds of someone doing something stupid. I figure, what's the point? You hire a guy to scare and shoot people, and outside of a war zone or extreme situations, it'd just make any situation worse. But if the dude can read minds or see the future somehow, I don't know.
If he's acting like a zombie, maybe he's been mind-controlled.
I mean, maybe, but mind control is such a wild power. Normally you snap out of it eventually. This Cog guy is always like that. That would imply that there's a different scion somewhere, and Cog goes in to see them on a regular basis. I think if we go with Occam's razor, we know that Cog is here. I haven't been seeing any other new hires. So if Lowry's got a piece of paper saying that I'm going to be exposed to psychic influence, the proper paranoid thing is to be careful around Cog until I know otherwise. Either way, I'm being shut out. I know less about what's going on, and the new terms of service are threatening, to say the least.
The worst part is they'll always find somebody else to agree with them.
You want employment as a superhero? You go through Unstoppable Industries. He can make it as bad as he wants, and he'll still get applicants. In the long run, though, it'll be lucky if the company can still function by the time Lawry moves on to ruin a different company.
Of course, by then super individuals can always sign on with the Demon's Legion, right?
When good men can't find honest work, they will eventually settle for simply work. The Demon's Legion will be hiring, and if the institutions competing for hands are only willing to offer anemic pay and benefits, it'll always be easy to compete for employees.
Speaking of men backed into corners, Paul, one of your burner phones rings. It's Phil, calling back Masterson.
Oh, hold on, I gotta take this. Hello, Phil?
It is Phil. He says, Daryl, we've got to talk, but you need to be careful. We both need to be careful. It's all being watched.
I understand. Meet me at the park in 1 hour, outside the Farfiddle hot dog stand.
Okay, see you there.
Looks like my other rod is heating up. Guys, the bottom line is Kimon the Slayer of Men is going to need to vanish soon. Nicholas, can we get something into Lowry's personal computer so we can keep an eye on what he's up to?
That's an overly broad question. It depends on how fast you want it whipped up and how you plan to get it on his computer.
Given 2 weeks, what are the options?
A screen logger would be feasible. I don't know if you can get a hold of his computer, but if you can install directly to his computer while it's already logged in, then we have it. However, there are some hardware options if you want to do a breaking and entering and can find the time to dismantle his laptop.
Would that give us more information?
A hard installation could do more. If I have 2 weeks, I could spend it developing something. The problem is, installation would be more technical, and you could break his computer. If anyone decides to open it, they'll find the kit, but these days almost nobody opens laptops because things get glued to the case. Though that's a point for you. I only suggest it because you have the delicate hearing to tell what's going on inside the case while you take it apart, so you'll know if something's hurting that shouldn't be. We should do a few trial runs on test laptops, though, so that you're comfortable.
All right, do it. Well, hardware. The more that we can see, the better.
Don't forget, set aside some time. I'll get some dummies before the final product is ready.
Yeah, got it. Trust me. I'd rather be here than in the office. Oh, which, by the way, Thor, I'm going to need somebody to drive my car around. Can you move some of your work offline? Lawry wants to start monitoring my movements, so maybe I'm going to need you to swap cars during the workday. I don't need anyone wondering why I keep coming to this apartment.
Thor asks, Is he going to know it's me driving?
Not until and unless he bugs the vehicle. But if he had it bugged, he probably wouldn't have asked me to put a tracker in it. It's just for a couple of weeks, so it should be in the clear until later.
Yeah, all right. I can do that.
Great. Thank you. All right, I'm going to get my Masterson costume on.
You get dressed as Masterson. Any notes on the look?
Yeah, put on a hoodie and then keep it up in a way that makes anybody look a little bit more suspicious. You know, like I'm obviously trying to hide some of my features?
Yeah, where it's pulled forward and it's not really hiding anything, but you kind of feel like it is. And it's not cold enough to justify the hood so everybody knows what you're doing.
Yep, that's it. And then I'll make my way to the park.
You get there and there's Phil, waiting at the Farfiddle hot dog stand. As soon as you approach, Phil says, "You're being followed. It's not safe."
Okay, let's walk. If we move, it'll be harder to listen into our conversation.
You start walking, and Phil says, "Daryl, after we talked, Kimon showed up at my apartment. He knew that we met."
Are you sure that it was me that he was following?
Well, I guess he must have been following me, because he said he wanted me to help him get to you.
There's a lot of tricks you can do to throw someone off your tail. In fact, let's do a few of them now. Let's head for the subway. We just need to duck and weave in and out of shops, go in one end of places, come out the other.
Phil follows along next to you. You guys duck into anywhere you can with branching passes. If you were being followed, this would help throw them off. And though with your super senses you haven't seen anyone, never hurts to be careful.
So what did you tell him?
I told him I'd do what he wanted. He came at me with a bunch of threats, but, "Oh, you can break the law if I told you to, because the law's on your side." And like hell it is. Everybody's got rights if you can afford them, but I bet if I tell a judge that a crime was okay because I knew I was being entrapped, suddenly I won't have been entrapped anymore.
Typical corporate scum-sucking. The golden rule is that if you can't afford to pay a little extortion, you can't afford a lawyer either.
Isn't that the truth in spades?
And every little scheme steals one more nickel and dime, and you'll find you can't afford to have anything, let alone your civil rights.
Look, he came at me with a couple of different threats. He said I'd never be able to order fast food again. I don't know how true that is, but I guess all it would take to ruin your life is upsetting the owners of one company. There's no way I could stand up to it, Daryl. I'll pretend to do what he wants. I think I have to, but I think you should just run. Give up on the Luna stuff. There's nothing I can do.
Actually, Phil, I think there might be a way that we could fight back.
Daryl, I've never been afraid of Chick-fil-A before, but I've never had to think about who they might be connected to.
Don't panic. He threatened you, but actually banning an individual from every business in town might take a lot of work. If he threatened to talk to the credit card companies, then you might be in danger.
Well, I don't know. He might know the credit card companies. How many people in total run everything?
But if he had that much pull and those resources, then there should have been more carrot with the stick. I think he might have been bluffing.
Well, how would I call his bluff? The guy's a former villain. He used to kill people.
A state can often offer better incentives than a criminal organization can. Not always, it depends on the state, but that's presently true for this country, so logically, the thing is to threaten with a much bigger stick than the government is allowed to use. For criminals, I mean. But if Kimon is acting in the state's interest, he should have a bigger carrot. He doesn't need the big stick. Have any actual government authorities come forward to you? The FBI, for example?
No, not about, surveilling on you or anything.
Then here's how I read the situation. His company is competing with the police and the FBI, so he doesn't have their resources. They've had their building knocked over, and their situation is as bad as it looks. He doesn't have a carrot to give, so he fell back on his criminal instincts and offered the stick. Did he tell you anything else?
That they have a broad warrant to do whatever they want, so he wasn't going to go through a judge to make me a legal informant.
Because that would require compensation, and a caseworker, a procedure, maybe something they don't have the means to produce on short notice since they're reeling from recent events. Phil, I know he rattled you, but all this smacks to me of a man who's weak and on his back foot. That means he's going to be eager for good news, and we can get the advantage over him.
Daryl, I respect you. I agree with you about a lot of things. I even kind of saw your way about how we'd be better off without Captain Momentum, but that was all before it was real.
Do you remember what I told you about Captain Momentum?
That if we didn't feel like there was one solution to every problem, we'd be forced to think up better ones?
Exactly. And that justified it.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, we don't have to take the solution that's directly in front of us. Here's my plan. But first, how many of the guards are close enough friends that you might be able to get them in on a scheme?
Well, how big of a scheme?
We need negligence at the security cameras at a minimum. In particular, we need to have nobody watching Luna. If we can prevent an alarm from going off, about 90% of the plan is feasible.
What does Luna have to do with Kimon?
The man's a scoundrel. Tell him that I've arranged to have another guard take some of Luna's blood. Tell him that there won't be surveillance when it happens. The empty security room is exactly what he's expecting that way. You know the date and time it'll happen because I asked if you'd be at work then. But when you express doubts about the plan, it's all that I would tell you. If he doesn't come to the conclusion on his own, then suggest laying an ambush inside Luna's cell. You and whoever you can get on board for this can help him out. This is going to sound suspicious, so you'll need to tell him that you want to be paid. Off the books, since that seems to be the way that he wants things. Offering a suspicious request on top of another one should put him at ease, because he'll feel he understands the situation and what you get out of it. Lead him to Luna's cell, then beat him senseless. Take Luna and escape in an emergency vessel. When all the superpowers in the facility return, I think there won't be enough left of Luna Island to gather records from. And that's if the authorities can even regain control of it within the month. No more Kimon, and Mercury could set you up for life. You'd be his hero. Imagine moving to any island in the world where topless women would wait on you hand and foot.
There's nowhere that does that. The topless women thing, I mean.
You'll have enough money to pay someone to be professionally topless, trust me. Your own personal swimming pool, but you can go snorkeling in the coral reefs whenever you want. Maybe you could start your own business, Phil's Bar and Grill. Anything you want.
I mean, that does all sound a lot better than being banned from Chick-fil-A.
It is feasible. Can you convince enough guards to set up a trap like that?
Well, for that much money, I think we could get a couple of other guys. In fact, Carl could move the schedule like he used to. I think everybody has really been stressed out about being busted, so a way out sounds really good.
If they're reluctant, you might bring up that if they haven't already been visited by a psychic, things are going to keep escalating, and they will be. My guess is the psychics they have are on assignment, and they have to pull them away. But it's going to happen sooner or later. Anyone who is in for a penny is in for a pound now.
Well, I hope we're getting a whole lot of pennies. We're talking about killing Kimon.
The old dog has had it coming.
You could throw a rock and hit a guy who thinks that.
Then there's only one thing I need you to do. I'd like to introduce you to Mercury, to establish a relationship. Make him know who he's paying and what to expect. He'll lay the groundwork for the rest of the plan and for your extraction to another country.
But I'm being followed. The whole point of this is Kimon wants to find where Mercury is.
We can provide you with a ride who knows how to lose a tail. And besides, being whisked away to a private meeting with Mercury will be the type of thing that would make Kimon salivate. He won't be able to resist.
You're sure? You're absolutely sure you can get out from under him?
We've got people who understand how to stay in this business. I'll set it up with Mercury and give you a time and place as soon as I can. Don't talk to anyone about this until I send a message.
Phil pulls you in for a hug and says, "Good luck out there, Daryl. Don't get burned up anymore."
You too. And if I don't talk to you again, enjoy your topless women. We should go our separate ways. Goodbye.
You guys peel off in separate directions from somewhere in the subway system. You've been bouncing around for this entire conversation, and from what you know of shadowing, if anyone were following you, they'd have to be very good to have kept up.
Okay, text the number that Mercury gave me. Tell him that we have willing operatives on the inside of Luna Island, but they'd like money, and it would be strongly advised that Mercury himself meets them to impress on them the importance of what they're doing. An operation can begin as soon as he gives his blessing.
You wait, then get a text back. Mercury will give his blessing. Then he gives you an address to a warehouse by the docks. You'll need to ask the gate guard for permission to enter, but if you tell him that you're here to pick up a shipping sample of toenail polish, he'll let you in. Mercury instructs you to be there in the early morning tomorrow, and instructs you to have Phil meet an hour later, so you and Mercury can debrief ahead of the meeting.
Okay, well, it's not like I'm trying to be coy about a first date or anything. Text Phil the time and location, give him the password, leave out any details.
Phil replies back, "Sorry, wrong number. Thumbs up emoji."
I'm going to be really mad if that's not him agreeing to go. I throw the phone away, snake my way back to the car, then head back to Nicholas's place.
When you get back, Nicholas has a bunch of electronics spread across the kitchen table. He says, "How'd it go?"
Great, we're planning to kill me, and I think it's pretty airtight.
"I don't know. You're pretty sharp and paranoid on the best days. You don't think you'll get wise to it?"
Nah, we got my psychology all figured out. I won't know what hit me. Anyway, Thor, I don't think I'm going to need you to drive my car tomorrow. There's an actual legitimate place I need to be that I can spin into a lead for Lawry, so we're good.
Thor gives you the thumbs up. All right.
So, Nicholas, what is all this on the table? That was really quick.
It's inventory. I'm seeing what parts I have and what parts I might need.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yes, we're not moving that fast.
Sorry, it's been a hell of a day. Feels like everything is going 1,000 miles a minute.
Are you done yet or going to bed?
I need to crash. Early day again tomorrow.
How early? You want breakfast?
Yeah, what's for breakfast?
Well, I got some ciabatta bread. I was thinking maybe a sandwich, egg, cheese, and then maybe do you want bacon or ham?
Yeah, with bacon. That sounds really good.
Nicholas says, "Thor, you want some?" Thor says, "Yeah, that sounds good, thanks."
All right, I'll see you guys in the morning. Good night.
You crash, In the morning, you wake up bright and early, you get a good breakfast, but obviously you can't just drive onto the docks dressed as the Green Man, so how do you want to go?
Just dress up as somebody fairly nondescript, but I'll put the Green Man costume in a backpack so I can change into it if theatrics or work demands it.
Right on. Then in that case, you get down to the docks, you tell the guard you're checking on nail polish, and he waves you ahead without any further questions. You get to the warehouse, and when you go in, you find the boxes have been mostly set aside. There's a long meeting table in the center of the place. On one side is sitting a very large turtle man in a captain's uniform. He's taking up 2 chairs by himself. Behind the table is Howard, who's standing guard behind Mercury at the head of the table. When you arrive, Mercury stands up and says, "Greetings, friend. May I assume that you are indeed a friend and not merely lost?"
I am a very green friend.
"Ah, well, pardon my not recognizing you, but I'm sure your powers lead to this frequently. Would it so happen that you could change into your villain uniform?"
As you desire. Is there a bathroom?
"Right over there. We have much to discuss as soon as you are ready."